That is the best beginner motorcycle on the market. Usually there's some kind of follow-up there, a caveat, some little tweak to that statement that makes it true, but not with this. That Rebel 300 E-Clutch is the easiest motorcycle I've ever ridden. Now, the Rebel 300 has been around, for the most part, in its current form for quite a while. These bikes have always been pretty easy to ride, but the most recent development is this, the E-Clutch. That is what makes it even easier than Rebels of the past. With this system, you can fully automate the clutch on this bike, but there is still a clutch lever. So this is not like the Honda DCT models that are all pretty much automatic all the time. You can take it over manually and learn how to use a clutch on this bike still. So you kind of get the best of both worlds. Powering this Rebel 300 is a familiar 286cc liquid-cooled single-cylinder engine that you'll find in a lot of Honda's other 300 models, and it puts out about 27 horsepower, 18 pound-feet of torque, and it's paired up to a 6-speed transmission. Now, even when the clutching is automated for you, you do still have to shift through the gears using this lever, so it's at best a semi-automatic transmission. So right off the bat, this is an interesting system. We've got a light on to let us know that the system is active. It's currently operating. So if I don't touch the clutch and I twist the throttle, it will move forward. If I pull in the clutch, the light goes off. It's a very light clutch pull. And then, just to demo that it will do it, you can stall the bike. So right there, bike's not running anymore, clutch in, start it back up. But since I'm holding the clutch, system doesn't come back on until I go into neutral. Now I can just kick it down into first gear again. I can twist the throttle and go. Now initially it is a little grabby. Seems like it wants to get that clutch out and not be slipping it for too long. So it'll be interesting to see. I also, real quick, want to see what happens if I don't ride like a motorcyclist. I'm not going to let off the throttle and shift. It seems to like that quite a lot. So you really don't need to try and rev match, it appears. Let's see, same thing. Downshifting, yeah. You don't have to mess around with that at all. So every now and then, when you're doing some low speed maneuvering, it can feel just a little bit lurchy, a little jumpy. And that's because this is my first day riding this system. I'm sure over time you would get more accustomed to when exactly the clutch starts to grab on this bike based on your throttle input, and you might get accustomed to it and be pretty familiar. But I'm finding with low speed maneuvering, my best bet is to just coast, not really try to give a lot of throttle input, and use the speed I have, which I can more easily predict, to make my slow speed turns. Because this clutch is a really huge component of your control when you're doing some real low speed stuff. So I'll either go ahead and take over the clutch manually, or I will just coast if possible on the bike. For suspension, the Rebel uses a 41mm upright fork in the front, so nothing too fancy or sophisticated. It's about a 300mm disc, single side, so this is not going to be anyone's track bike. You just have a single brake up front, and in the rear, dual shocks and a single 240mm disc. This bike does have ABS front and rear, which is all good stuff, and 5.5 inches of travel on the front suspension, 3.7 in the rear. Looks-wise, I'd argue that Honda, as in the past, nailed the look of the Rebel in general. I love the big chunky tires, a 130 width tire up front and a 150 in the rear, and those chunky bits of rubber make this not look like such a small beginner bike. It looks like a pretty substantial machine going down the road. I just wish that they had more color options for these bikes from the factory, because if you want to get people into riding, you need this bike to stand out on the showroom floor, grab people, and make them want to spend their hard-earned money on it. And right now the only color options are black or gray, so they could use a little bit of help there. Now, as for how the rest of this bike is, aside from the E-clutch, it rides like Rebel 300s have for, ever since this generation of the bike was introduced. It is a very lightweight, easy bike to ride, low seat height, under 400 pounds. It's about 380 pounds and a 27.2 inch seat height. So all of that makes it super approachable for any rider. You might be a little cramped on this bike if you're a taller rider, so definitely smaller riders are going to feel very comfortable on this. It's not a reach to get to anything. It's a pretty compact machine overall. And yeah, super user-friendly, not overly powerful. It's about 27 horsepower and 18 or so pound-feet of torque, so nothing too crazy. Now, in general, I would say this is not an engine that has tons of character. It's pretty quiet, which is a good thing for a single cylinder, because anytime you get a really loud single, they start to get pretty buzzy at high speeds. But it's a good engine overall, especially for a newer rider. As you would expect on a relatively basic bike, there's not much to the instrument cluster here. It is digital, and you've got a gear position indicator, which is a great thing to have. Of course, your fuel, you've got time, speed, you have your trip odometers, and your regular odometer, some dummy lights. It's all pretty simple stuff. Doesn't overload you with information, which is a good thing for newer riders in general, but it is not the easiest screen to read, especially in the light with a little bit of glare. It can be a bit hard to decipher, but it's not too bad. So as for how these bikes ride overall, these were already really easy motorcycles, and now that they've added this e-clutch system, it's that much easier to get on one of these and get started riding before you actually have to commit to learning how to use a clutch, which is a huge barrier to entry, like we said. So this motorcycle kind of gives you the best of everything, and it's a great stepping stone for somebody who wants to eventually get into a bigger bike. I don't think that this is anyone's ultimate motorcycle, dream motorcycle, not for the majority of riders, but for a place to start, it's genuinely maybe the best option on the market for anything brand new as a starter bike. If you're a larger rider, you might also find this bike a little bit cramped, so people much over 6 feet may not get super comfortable on this as it comes from the factory. And if you're a new rider but you already know how to operate a clutch, maybe you came from a lot of manual cars, then the e-clutch system on this bike might not be a huge benefit to you, in which case you could just go for pretty much any regular motorcycle and be just as well off. Now we're merging onto the highway, gonna give it some throttle. It's definitely not a super fast bike, and even in 6th gear, which is our top gear, feels pretty wrung out at 50. So yeah, this would not be my go-to highway cruiser. I think that's pretty obvious, but you could definitely do it. Now, I've talked a lot about how this system works for beginner riders, but it's obviously available on other Honda bikes. The 650s and also now the CB750 Hornet can be optioned with the e-clutch, and the cool thing about it is once you're riding, once you're actually moving down the road, it rides a lot like just a better quick shifter, honestly. So you cruise around, you just hit the next gear that you want, and you don't have to worry about the clutch. That's how you ride with a quick shifter, but it's got the added functionality of being able to get you moving from a stop as well. So it's a pretty cool system, and on some of those bigger bikes, you can actually go into the menu and turn it off entirely, so you can just have it not be a factor whatsoever. On these bikes, it always defaults to being on. Another one of the things that makes this bike exceedingly easy to get on and ride is the low seat height at 27.2 inches. I'm only 5'10", and I've got a solid bend in the knee, so this is a really easy motorcycle to get your feet down on no matter what height you are, and is sporting about a 3-gallon fuel tank up front here. Now, some people may claim a disadvantage of this system is that you will become over-reliant on the e-clutch and not really be learning how to ride a motorcycle, but I think there's a few holes in that theory, because if you learn how to ride on this bike and you rely very heavily on e-clutch and then you choose to move on to another motorcycle, there's one more thing for you to learn, but you could either learn that on your first bike or on your second. It's not really a big issue, and if you stick with the Rebel 300 long term,
then it doesn't matter because you're riding a bike that has the e-clutch, so you can rely on it as much as you want. This is also a decently fun handling little bike too, which is great because that's another important part of motorcycling, and it's definitely something that you can develop as a rider on one of these Rebels, especially because they're very lightweight, and that makes them not at all stressful things to learn how to either low speed maneuver or corner, even at slightly higher speeds, even though today we're taking it pretty easy because that's kind of what these bikes are built for. Now, overall, throughout the course of this video, I've said a lot of good things about this bike because it's one that I'm genuinely very excited about, and even my partner and I are going to be having a conversation when I get back to Colorado. I'm probably going to get her on one of these sooner rather than later because it would be the perfect bike for her to learn on. So I am very excited about this motorcycle outside of just shooting this video, even in my personal life, because I think it's a really helpful tool. But there are a few drawbacks, no doubt. This is obviously a lot more expensive than buying a used motorcycle, so if you really want to save money, that's going to be the cheapest option, always, versus something that's brand new. I also want to say quick thanks to Scott and the team over at Rider Justice. We've been working with them basically since the beginning because they are the people to work with if you're an enthusiast, especially. They understand motorcyclists, they understand car enthusiasts, and if you're ever in an incident and you need legal representation, they are the ones to talk to. And you can check them out using the link in the description below.